Chris here, GearNoir on the forums. Glad to be back with you for another shave video. Actually wasn't planning on doing this, but I got a couple good things in yesterday from KJ on theshavingcadre.com. I guess he's kind of like purveyor of this fine sport of shaving, and actually he's doing some PIFs throughout the year, or as other people call them, and he calls them PIFs. I don't know why. I prefer the term PIFs, whatever. But very generous of him. He actually gave out this month's, and it was to 3 different people, and I happened to be a lucky recipient of that. And so what I got was, I'll show you here, a bunch of different samples of mostly like more vintage Avon fragrances. I got leather, I got Blend 7, I got Wild Country, and Thai Winds, and Deep Woods, Windjammer, that's a popular one, Spicy, I think that's kind of like a take on Old Spice, and then Bravo Aftershave sample, and then what I'm going to be using today after the shave is Excalibur, and I've never used any of these before. My mom used to sell Avon back in the day, like in the 90s, but I think these are a little bit older than that, like 80s or 70s maybe, even something like that. But so really excited to try all those out. I'm probably not going to get them all on camera after a shave, but at least I'll start off with one today, and then I'll keep it up to date in my written journal of the ones I've tried, what I like, what I think of them, stuff like that. So you can be on the lookout for those. What I also got was, I have it blooming here, is a sample of Honeybee shave soaps. I think it's melon and cucumber, or cucumber and melon. It's a melt and pour base, I think. I've never tried one of those before. I've never tried Honeybee soaps. It's from one of the, what they call the 3, or who they call the original 3 Susans, over on badgerandblade.com. Yeah, that artist inventor has been around for a long time. Evidently she knows her stuff, so I'm going to find that out today. It's a really small sample, as you saw, so I don't have a bowl to kind of put it in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it kind of like a shave stick. We'll see if that works. So I've had it blooming for a little bit, and thankfully I've got some scrub on my face. Make sure I get plenty on here. Because I've never used a melt and pour soap to shave before. Hopefully that's enough, we'll see. Dump that water out there. Alright. Using my Big Bruce today, synthetic, keep it nice and easy. And rub some of the excess soap that I have on my hand on there. So normally that kind of soap is really hard, and it felt that way, so I bloomed it for a little while, like I said, and it seemed to soften up real nicely, so I'm glad that experiment worked. Shave sticks and shave soaps like that come in like smaller tubes for travel or whatever, they're usually a little bit softer, but it seemed to work okay, so we'll see how this lather goes. I definitely get the cucumber, or excuse me, the melon part of the scent. The cucumber is kind of a little bit hidden, but we'll see how it develops here. Definitely a light lather right now. It's building up as I'm working it. Felt really airy at first. I guess a melt and pour soap usually gets a bad rap in a lot of places because people don't feel it has the shave qualities of today's artisan soaps that are chock full of different ingredients. What makes a melt and pour base, I guess, is like I think it comes in like a powder form, I'm not sure, but it's a combination of a fatty acid and a base like stearic, something like that. But and usually melt and pour soaps are associated with glycerin a lot. That's more water in here. As you can see, the leather seems to be staying kind of thin. Put in some more water. And now I'm flinging. Okay, definitely still feels like a light lather. It's thickening up a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. I feel like the slickness is there, but just maybe not that cushiony kind of thick lather that we associate with protectiveness. Got my feather here. Back to the trusty feather. Washes off real easy, so I know I've at least got the soap mixed in well with the water. It's definitely got some slickness going on, but yeah, it's kind of a more airy lather than I'm used to. I mean, the bubbles are fine. You can see that there's maybe barely any like large bubbles. I worked it pretty well, but it's just a light lather. Feels very different from maybe a more regular like tallow lather. Doesn't feel bad. Smells good, has a nice clean smell. Still getting the melon. Cucumber is probably a really hard scent to bring out in a soap, but smells pleasant. Alright, hopefully I didn't put too much water on my face that it's going to mess up the lather. And it could be just user error too. I'm not necessarily going to blame the soap. Like I said, I never used this kind of soap before, and I am not maybe lathering it, using it as a shave stick. I'm not using it in the way it's supposed to be. I'm not sure. It'd be much safer to, and when you're trying out a soap, to just load it your normal way like I would do on a brush or something, but since it's a sample size and I didn't want to risk messing up the sample by remelting it, which you can do in melt and pour soaps if you're careful. You can reform the puck. That's actually what KJ did before he sent out his samples. I guess is he carefully reheated them and melted them into those littler, smaller bits to send out. See, what else am I noticing? My face is pretty dry, so like, let's see, there's some slickness if I add water, but if I don't, the slickness is gone. Let's clean out my feather here. Gotta blow out that little crack in there, make sure no water stays in there. There we go, keep the water off. Hand strap it a little bit. Get some of that extra moisture off the blade. Hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. Yeah, it's definitely got a little extra slickness if I add water, but if I put too much water on, then my slickness just washes right off. These are just things I'm noticing. Like I said, this is my first use. Could be one of those things that, like anything else, you get a little more practice with a certain soap or item, and it gives you better results as you get more acquainted with it. Alright, got my Prewar fat handle tech with the triangular slots. You can see those. One of my favorite razors. This one actually is going to be going to my dad pretty soon. who I'm building a little shaving kit for. I gave him a straight razor a while back because he was interested in trying to sharpen it in his workshop, but he hasn't done anything with it since, and I'd like to kind of share this hobby with him if possible. He hasn't touched a traditional razor in a long time. He does mostly electrics. So I've got him a brush picked out. If you watch some of my older videos, you'll see that I was trying out different brushes. I decided on a synthetic. Nice Rudy Vay tuxedo. And I got him some samples of like Barrister and Man and Cella and good soaps like that. And then this will be the razor I give him. I'll be looking for another one because I like this one. You might have heard me make the comparison before with my Game Changer from Razor Rock. That shaves very similarly to this and a Fat Boy on setting 3. And the Razor Rock has a little bit more blade feel against the grain. Otherwise I feel they shave pretty similarly, just the Razor Rock is a stainless and a little bit heavier. Okay, so especially on this against the grain pass, you can see the lather is kind of drying up a little bit, and actually got a couple nicks here and there, and not feeling much slickness anymore. At least the against the grain is a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Rinse out the tech. Alright, warm water rinse. Get the soap off. Still feels like a pretty decent shave. We'll do my lather soak here. Get some of that good melon scent for a little bit longer. And I'm going to pause you real quick. I'm going to put on my little body moisturizer lotion that I do. I'll be right back. Alright, back. As you can see, the lather's drying pretty darn fast. I'm going to do my cold rinse. Dry off a little bit. Face is just a little bit tingly. I think it's more from the blade than anything else. I'm using a Wilkinson Sword. I think today was its 5th shave, and Might be ready for the bin, not sure. I don't think it was the soap. The shave felt a little rough yesterday too. So it's actually the 5 shaves is pretty low average for me for a blade. I'm kind of surprised. It's the witch hazel I'm putting on. Hopefully help with any irritation that pops up, or prevent it from popping up anyway. And since the soap was kind of a nice fresh melony scent, melony the fruit, not the person. Sorry any melonies listening. I'm going to use my homemade Brut Aftershave. Just basically a Brut fragrance, the splash-on fragrance that you can buy like at Target or something. And then I added witch hazel and some kind of like wintergreen alcohol. It's also really nice, really fresh. Has a little bite to it because of the alcohol. And hopefully it should match okay with the fragrance I'm using. So, fragrance, Excalibur Cologne for Men by Avon. These come in little towelettes. You can save them, I guess. That's a lot different than I was expecting. It said fresh and green. I get a green. I can't equate that to anything. Smells decent. Maybe not something I'd regularly use. But, so it's got a little towelette here that's soaked in product. You know what? It smells kind of like eggnog. That sounds weird. It's very alcohol-y. Has some kind of eggnoggy kind of hint to it. But we're gonna rock it. I'm gonna try to save it, find some baggies. I can revisit it at a different time. There's a lot of product on here. A little bit on the wrists. And a little bit on the temples. All right. Put that back in its baggie. Yeah, kind of hard to describe. It is definitely a manly scent on the green side. The little eggnog smell is worn off. I love eggnog, by the way. But yeah, I'm not good with scents. I know it smells good. It's green, kind of fresh. Not quite what I expected. It doesn't quite go with the melon from the Honeybee Soap, but it's pleasant. It's a very light smell though, at least I'm losing the smell now. But yeah, so that's a shave. Thanks KJ for those. I look forward to trying out the rest of the samples you bought me. Honeybee shave soap, good experience. I'm gonna have to give it some more tries too, see if I can whip up a better lather. I mean, it certainly wasn't bad. I didn't get a bad shave. I did get a couple nicks here and there. But overall, the lather was slick while it was on my face. And the residual slickness was there if I added a little bit of water. But the lather just felt a little bit light. Maybe not quite as cushiony protective as some of the tallow lathers I'm used to, or even some of the other vegan kind of soaps. If I had to equate it to something, it's probably closer to I don't know, I don't want to say like a shave can. That might sound bad, but shave cans can be, those kind of soaps can, and lathers can. Okay, sorry about that. Apparently 2 gigabytes of phone storage for a video isn't enough these days. But it gave me some time actually, because I was saying something about shave feel, and that is true. But now that the shave has sit for a few minutes, my face actually feels really soft between the combination of the soap and the witch hazel and the aftershave that I made. So it's feeling really good actually. That prickliness is gone. I don't feel any irritation anymore. But just what I was saying, yeah, the lather. It's very light, very fluffy. The slickness is there. The in-shave slickness and residual slickness is there if you add a little bit of water. But other than that, it dries up really fast actually, and it could simply be user error. I'm sure it is, because the soaps are actually still pretty liked, and I did actually enjoy the shave. I just felt the blade a little bit more than I'm used to, and nothing wrong with that. But thanks KJ for those. Like I said, I'll be up to date in my journal with the other ones I try out. They might not all make it to a shave video. I kind of like the pace I have, where I only do maybe one a week. It just keeps it easy for me. I don't have to stress out about anything. But I do appreciate the piff. And so that's it for this week. Actually, right after this, I'm going to be doing my 7 Sins of Traditional Shaving video. I haven't done that. A bunch of the guys at the Shaving Cadre have done that already, and I need to put mine in there. I got to go dig my stuff out real quick, but so be on the lookout for that. It'll be up right after this video. But otherwise, that's it for this week. Take care, guys. See you next time.